Hello ladies and gentlemen, right now we're going to do 3 examples of annotating. Make sure that anything that I have on my screen you are doing on your paper as well. Let's start off with the first example. It says, Willie checked out a library book with 370 pages. He read 38 pages on Monday and 112 pages on Tuesday. How many more pages does he need to read to finish this book? So just like we do our strategies, let's make sure that we're keeping up with that. I know that I need to go ahead and underline my main idea. And I know that my main idea is how many more, because that tells me that I need to subtract if we look at our keywords. And I'm putting parentheses around the subtraction sign so I don't forget what I have to do. My supporting information is the total amount of pages that he has, how many pages he read on Monday, and how many pages he read on Tuesday. Now there's multiple ways of solving this, so if you know them, that's extremely awesome because your test is this Friday. But right now I'm only going to work out one way, so make sure that you get whatever I have. So the first thing I could do is I could add Monday and Tuesday's pages so that I could combine those first. I did say I needed to subtract, which means this won't be the only thing that I'm doing. Alrighty, I know 2 plus 8 is 10. Let me carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5, and 1 plus nothing is 1. This would not be my final answer, so make sure that you're remembering it will not only take one step to solve a problem in 7th grade. My next step is to go ahead and subtract. So Willie had 370 pages to start with. Monday and Tuesday he already read 150 pages. I know his language arts teacher would be really proud of him. But we need to see how many more he has left. So that means we're going to be subtracting those two. 0 minus 0 is 0. 7 minus 5 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So then I know that Willie still has 220 pages to read. Now this is awesome, but we're missing one last thing, and that is our complete sentence. I'm going to be typing it out. Make sure that you are also getting it on your examples. My answer is 220 pages because we needed to find out how many more pages he needed to read. Now, this would be a great explanation, but on your test, you're going to be given a lot of lines because we want detailed explanations for one of your questions. So I'm going to be showing you how to do that. So yes, I said what my answer was, and I explained why. But now I'm also going to make sure that I explain every single step that I did. First, I added Monday and Tuesday's pages. Then let me switch that. Lastly, I subtracted the amount from the total of pages, which was 370. Okay? Right here I gave the answer and why. I gave the first step that I did, which was this over here, and then I said my second step, which was over here. Right now we're going to pause the video so that we can make sure you have all of this down. Moving on to the second example. Casey had 48 tickets for games at the school carnival. She used 1/3 of her tickets to play the spin the wheel game. She used 1/2 of the remaining tickets to play a balloon game where she won 8 more tickets. So how many tickets did Casey have after playing these two? Okay, just like we did with our last one, I am going to be underlining after. After. Okay? How many after? Those are my keywords that help me know that I need to do a couple of steps for this one. Usually this is going to be subtracting. Okay? Casey started out with 48 tickets. She used 1/3 of those. Let me circle of. She used 1/2 of those remaining tickets to play a balloon game where she won 8. Okay? So we started off with 48. Now, if I ever see a fraction with the small word of after it, that means I'm going to be multiplying because I want to know that section of it. So since I'm multiplying right now, I need to remember that this whole number needs to be made into a fraction because the way I multiply is straight across. 48 times 1 is 48. 1 times 3 is 3. And I have 48 thirds. So right now what I need to do is divide because that's what the fraction sign means. So let me go ahead and do that division over here. 48 divided by 3. 4 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 18 divided by 3 is 16. Now, let's be very careful. Right here it said she used these. So she does not have these anymore. So on this side over here, I'm going to go ahead and subtract them because she has already lost these tickets. So 8 minus 6 is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. So right now, Casey has 32 tickets. Okay? Now, of these 32 tickets, she used half of them to play a balloon game. So I see half of. That means I would be multiplying my fractions. I need to remember that with fractions, my denominator needs to be 1 so that I can multiply straight across. 32 times 1 is 32. 1 times 2 is 2. That means I need to divide 32 by 2. That equals 1. Let me carry down that 2. 12 divided by 2 is 16. So Casey used another 16 tickets. Let me go ahead and subtract that. She's going to be left with 16 tickets. Okay, now that is not my final answer because then she won 8 tickets. So if I'm winning tickets, I'm going to be adding it to this. So I'll be adding 16 plus 8. And if I do that, I know that she has 24 tickets. Look at all of this work. This is a 7th grade problem. Look at all of the steps that we had to do. So right now I'm going to be erasing this over here. That way I have enough room to write down my sentence. My answer is 24 tickets because after using and winning tickets, Casey has this amount. For this one, we did a whole lot of steps. So let's go ahead and talk about those. First, we multiplied 1/3 with 48 to find out she used 16. Then we multiplied 1/2 with 32 to find out she used 16. Finally, we added 8 because she won these. Do y'all see this beautiful paragraph? This detailed explanation? This is exactly what Ms. Flores and Ms. Guerrero are going to expect from you on the day of your test. Not on every single problem, just on the problem that expects you to give an explanation. I gave my answer and I gave every single step. I could actually add more to this. I never said I subtracted these, which could be 2 more sentences on here. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to our last example. We will pause this video so you can get all of this work down. So moving on to the last one. On Saturday, Kelly received a $25 allowance. By Tuesday, she had spent $11.35. And on Wednesday, she had spent $4.25. So how much of Kelly's allowance was left after Wednesday? So again, the keyword was left. That's going to help me know that just like with the other problems, we need to subtract here. Okay, she received $25 for her allowance. She spent $11.35, and she also spent $4.25. So just like our first example, I can do this problem many ways, but I'm going to choose to do the way that I did with the first example. So first I'm going to be adding what she spent together. So she spent $11.35 and $4.25. I know with decimals I need to remember to line them up. 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6. Lining up my decimals. 1 plus 4 is 5, and 1 plus nothing is 15. Now some of you might think this is your final answer, but this is just what she has spent. Now I need to go ahead and subtract it, and I'm going to be subtracting it from her $25. This is where a lot of you make silly mistakes. 25 is a whole number, so the decimal goes after it, and I can add some zeros there so that I can make sure my decimals stay lined up. 0 minus 0 is 0. I cannot do 0 minus 6. I do need to borrow, so let me take 1 away from over here, and now I have 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. I'm going to keep my decimals lined up. I cannot do 4 minus 5, so I'm going to have to borrow again. And now I have 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. And 1 minus 1 is nothing. So my final answer for this problem is $9.40. Sometimes you might have some gridables, just like we have over here. Make sure that wherever your decimal is, that's how you're lining up your things. So right here, I'm going to write 9. That's really light, so let me change my color. I have $9.40. Always make sure that when you are bubbling in your gridable, you bubble in nice dark circles. So here's my 0, my 4, and my 9. Okay. I recommend always bubbling the positive or negative. I know there was no negative signs here, which is how I know it's positive. That way you're always sure that you won't get a deduction for that. Okay, right now I'm going to be eliminating this work. That way I can write my complete sentence. I'm going to keep this one short just to be nice. My answer was $9.40 because that was Kelly's total after she spent money. Everything that we did for these problems is what we expect from you for the rest of this week, and these strategies should be used during your tests so that you don't make any silly mistakes. Good luck with all of your work. We know that you can be very successful when you do the best you can.